say that I'm a weirdo, and you can say that I am a bad person and a terrible person for rewarding kids for cutting themselves, but that's not grooming.
Warning. This video discusses sensitive topics such as grooming, exploitation, incest, threats, and manipulation. If you are sensitive to any of these topics, please scroll away. Viewer discretion is advised. Meowbah is lying to you. Almost every claim she made in her Twitter response was a lie. And today, I'm going to deconstruct almost all of her claims. Her first claim: she never encouraged/forced minors to harm themselves. First of all, in Meowbah's response, she claims it's not true that she groomed kids into self-harming, even though in her response she literally admitted kids did cut her name into her arm. Meowbah, let me ask you one thing. Whether you directly pulled the trigger or not, you are legally and morally responsible for the toxic environment you built, are you not? Multiple ex-friends and moderators from your inner circle have stepped forward with screenshots confirming you cheered this behavior on. Furthermore, you have a documented history of telling people to slit their wrists completely out of the blue. You cannot act like you are an innocent bystander when your own digital footprint is filled with malicious intent. Let's look at the timeline because the math does not add up. You claim you were a 17-year-old high school student when this happened in 2022. However, your public birth date is April 15th, 2004. The major exposure videos detailing these incidents dropped between July 15th and August 2022. By July 2022, you were already 18 years old. You are lying about being a minor during that situation to evoke sympathy and escape legal scrutiny. Her second claim: she isn't friends with pedophiles. This is also a lie. The correct wording is that Meowbah was friends with a pedophile, specifically Hova, who she herself admitted was a pedophile, and she only cut him off when he did something she specifically deemed illicit. Keep in mind, for years, she kept him in her server full of minors, knowing what he had watched and created, and excused it just because it was 5 years ago. So yes, she didn't know Hova had sent messages to a teenage-year-old, but she did know he had watched, and supported illicit material. She just chose not to care, which is again admitted by her. Her third claim: she never forced kids to drink milk out of bowls. Again, this is a lie. She did force kids to drink out of a bowl. It was literally the first ban appeal. In her defense, she claims that you chose which appeal you did. But I don't think she understood that by putting those options as your only ban appeals, you are in a way forcing that minor to pick which one they want to do. And surprise, surprise, they did it. I also want to add, this defense is a textbook example of predatory justification. In the eyes of the law and in the study of child psychology, choice does not exist in a vacuum. When an adult or a figure of authority in a community holds the keys to something a minor wants and requires an act of physical humiliating degradation to get it back, that is coercion. You have a power dynamic where adults are acting as the gatekeepers, actively accepting, watching, and validating videos of children degrading themselves on all fours. That crosses the line from a joke straight into the territory of grooming and exploitation. Then there's the victim blaming. Meowbah claims we shouldn't feel bad for these victims because they allegedly broke server rules or made inappropriate jokes themselves. Here's the reality check. If a minor is misbehaving in your community, the appropriate response as a responsible platform owner is to ban them and move on. You do not use their bad behavior as a free pass to exploit them for your own entertainment. A child making an inappropriate joke does not suddenly make it legal or ethical for adults to solicit humiliating videos from them. Her fourth claim: she never drew NSFW of kids. I don't think Meowbah realizes who we are referring to when we talk about her drawing NSFW of kids. We were actually referring primarily to Tommy Innit. He was 18 at the time, so was Meowbah. But many people believed Meowbah was older than him, and he was younger. It was also around this time when Meowbah created NSFW art, depicting him being raped by her, and her simultaneously threatening to fly to the UK to kidnap him and sexually assault him. Fortunately, this is the only thing on the list where she wasn't lying. However, regarding her final claim, I have to be blunt. She was lying about that too. Her final claim: she doesn't prey on children. Meowbah, people already knew you preyed on children, even before Bella the Wolf made her video. Keep in mind, Bella the Wolf is a 15-year-old girl, and Meowbah can't stop blaming her for everything. But whatever. A couple of examples of her preying on children is her own website, in which, if you go to the ritual section, you can see she is posting videos of both adults and children praying to her with a bowl of water in front of the that reminds me of a certain ban appeal. And when questioned about this, Meowbah stated all they had to do was contact her to get it taken down. What? First of all, there's no such thing as post first, ask for takedown later when you are dealing with the privacy of a minor. Children cannot legally consent to having their likeness, especially in private or vulnerable moments like prayer, broadcasted on a website run by a controversial internet figure. And because they cannot consent, the absolute legal and moral baseline is that you do not post them at all. Period. Second, look at the sinister logic of her excuse. she is shifting the burden of responsibility onto the victims. She is expecting children, or their parents, to somehow stumble across her degenerate website, discover that their likeness is being exploited, track down her contact information, and formally request a takedown. You do not get to violate a child's privacy and then demand they do the administrative work to fix it. Third, and perhaps most importantly, she completely ignores how the internet actually works. The moment you upload a video of a minor to a public, unmonitored website, you have lost control of it. Even if Meowbah deletes a video 5 minutes after a victim begs her to, the damage is done. In those 5 minutes, that video can be screen recorded, archived, saved by bad actors, and redistributed to the darkest corners of the web. Taking it down from her website does not erase the digital footprint she forced onto that child. Also due to Meowbah constantly admitting how she loves incest, she has convinced other minors into thinking that stuff is okay. She might try to play the naive card to her audience, acting like she just didn't know any better. But when you are running a platform, generating traffic, and actively curating content, you don't get a free pass for exploiting kids just because you promised to delete it when you finally get caught. You may be wondering, lovely, if you have all this evidence, why haven't you just reported it to the police yourself? The truth is, I've wanted to for a long time. But if I will admit it, I'm extremely scared. I'm scared to be in this situation alone, knowing other people have submitted reports and gotten nothing out of it. And on top of that, Meowbah is over 5 years older than me, and she has the money and status to defame me if she wanted. A single report from one internet creator can easily be overlooked or dismissed as a personal online dispute. That is why I cannot do this alone. Law enforcement and child protection agencies prioritize cases based on volume, credibility, and the diversity of independent reports. If only one person reports, it looks like a grudge. But when dozens of different individuals, especially those who have witnessed or experienced this behavior firsthand, submit independent reports, the authorities are forced to take notice. Furthermore, many of you holding screenshots, DMs, or server archives have unique pieces of the puzzle that I don't have. Your direct testimony is infinitely more valuable to investigators than a secondary summary from me. If you want to see actual real-world accountability, here is exactly what you need to do. Step 1. Know where to report. Do not report this to random Twitter accounts or YouTube support. I've tried. They don't care. You need to report this to the actual organizations equipped to handle online child exploitation. 1. If you are in the United States, report her to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, via their cyber tip line at cybertipline.org. 2. If you are in Australia, report her to the Australian Centre to Counter Child Exploitation, ACCCE, at accc.gov.au. 3. If you are anywhere else in the world, use the InHope network at inhope.org, which will route your report to your local national law enforcement agency. Step 2. How to file a proper report. When you submit a report, it needs to be professional and objective. Do not write an angry rant. Treat it like a legal statement. Provide usernames and platform links. Submit her active Twitter handles, YouTube channels, Discord IDs, and website URLs. Submit the evidence safely. Provide timestamps, chat logs of grooming behavior, and links to public archives. Step 3. Do not engage. Finally, I am explicitly instructing you, do not harass, brigade, or contact Meowbah. Do not comment on her posts, do not join her servers to troll her, and do not send hate speech. Doing so only allows her to play the victim, deflect the blame, and claim she is being harassed. It also gives her money, especially on YouTube, and it weakens our case and distracts from the actual crimes.